Jennifer Gledhill, 41. She has been arrested for the alleged unaliving of her husband, Matthew Johnson. He was 51 years old at the time of his death. However, he has not been found. The Utah National Guard's member was reportedly shot late September the 20th or early September the 21st. The informant, who is also Jennifer Gledhill's lover, we'll say, told police that she admitted to shooting him and then burying his body. And apparently her mother and father were part of covering up the crime as well. There's significant cleanup that had taken place at the home. If you've not watched my previous coverage on this, I will tag it at the end of this video so you guys can go back and watch it. It was our first really dive into the case. So you're not really that far behind. You can catch up pretty quickly. What we're going to watch today is an interview with Matthew's ex-wife. And I found it very interesting because she doesn't seem like she has any bitterness towards Jennifer, I don't think. It opens our eyes to kind of both sides of the story. Like right now, we're looking at Jennifer Gledhill, at least I am, thinking, oh, you horrible woman, how could you have done this? But in listening to the ex-wife, it does kind of give you an idea of, Matthew wasn't perfect. This is some of the things that he did that were annoying or that were, difficult, or he could sometimes be difficult to deal with. So, and that's normal. Now, are we going to victim blame? Well, no, but, we want to hear all sides of the story. We want to know exactly what went on here. So, what we're going to do is listen to this interview with his ex-wife now, and we'll go from there.
Matthew Johnson, that she knew, along with her feelings on this case. When was the last time you had any contact with Matt?
2014.
And did you have any contact with Jennifer? Have you ever met her?
I haven't. I know of her through mutual friends, but I don't know her. I don't know her. And it's okay. It's been fine. I was actually so thankful that Matt finally met Jen. I was like, because Matt had someone else to focus on 100%. He had a few other girls here and there, but like Jen was the one. Jen was the one that was keeping him, I think, where he needed to be. So I was very thankful that Jen came into his life because it kind of gave us that separation that we desperately needed to be apart from each other. And he could carry on with his life. And he had 3 beautiful kids. And I'm so happy for him. Like through the grapevine, we know what's going on in each other's life, but we haven't had direct conversation. Does that make sense? Just through friends and all of that. So Matt is probably the best Marine special ops. He's probably the best you'll ever find. He is very devoted. He's dedicated. He's a hard worker. He is fantastic in leading a team and having that control over situations. For us in the civilian world, the control and how he thought things needed to be done and his behaviors they just weren't appropriate for the civilian world. I don't know how else to word it.
How did you hear about Matthew's death or the alleged murder of your ex-husband?
TikTok.
What was your reaction when you heard about Jennifer's involvement in this?
Shocked. First, I was shocked. Then I thought, there's no way. Matt probably just disappeared. He was probably just tired of his life. He wanted to run away. That was my first initial thought. And then I called my dad and I said, now I'm worried because I don't know if he's really gone. And through Matt and I's past, I can see him pulling a stunt like that, disappearing, because that has been my experience, he leaves, comes back, causes chaos. That's just been my experience. So, as it's now progressed to the point that it has, with everybody else that's involved, I now really believe that he's not with us anymore. And it's sad. It's still sad. He was, a part of our life for 12 years. That's sad. He'll always be a part of my history and my boys' history. And it's just sad. I don't know. I feel so bad for his kids. That's the worst part out of everything. By far the worst.
You wrote to me in the long version of what you shared, his wife and family have experienced years of chaos, lies, theft, and instability as Matt struggled to maintain a balance between his two worlds. How much did he struggle with separating one versus the other?
A lot. He struggled a lot. I think with every deployment and every training and everything, he just drank a little bit more. He thought that he was untouchable. He would show up at homes that I had, and we would get in an argument, and the cops would be called, and the cops would take his side because I have to be the crazy one. They would ask me to leave the home because I had family and friends and he didn't. And it's not fair that he should have to leave when he didn't even live at these homes. These were my homes. I ran businesses out of, these were my places. But so he just thought he could never get in trouble. Jennifer made a comment. I don't remember what article it was, but I read that they got in an argument and then drank a bunch of whiskey. And that, I don't know, that when I read that, I was like, that is Matt's MO. That's what he does. He'll get in an argument. Wasn't ever whiskey with us, but we'd get in an argument. He'd bring a bottle of wine into the living room or wherever and just say, if we're done, we're just going to drink. We're just going to drink all night. We can be as honest as we want with each other. That's what's going to happen. And I'm like, alcohol never made a situation better. And we're already angry. I'm not about to drink, but that was his way of, I don't know, dealing with life. He just wanted to drink. And then he made bad decisions.
Crystal, Jennifer mentioned that part, and then she mentioned that Matt either hit her or there was violence afterwards. Yeah. Does that part ring true with you and your experience with Matt?
Yes, I wouldn't put it past him. Yeah.
What was it like for you to read some of those articles about Jennifer's account that day? And obviously that's Jennifer's account, and then it's written by an officer. So it's kind of both, right? It's Jennifer tells officers this, then officer writes report. How did you feel reading that? Was that flashbacks for you? Was that, I totally see that? Because hearing that a wife murders the husband, there's the ability to discount some of those things in the front half. But would you say that some of those were very, very accurate based on your experiences?
Absolutely. She was spot on with lots of his behavior. And those are just the big things. She's just talking about the big things. She hasn't even talked about the little things, the money missing from the account or hiding debit cards or taking you off accounts. He does so many other things that it's hard to she's just talking about the big stuff. And there's a lot of little stuff that just all adds up, and it is scary. It's hard to get away from those relationships. It's hard to wrap your head around it when you're so deep in it. You don't know if what you're doing is right. Are you just being a good wife, or is this person being a bad husband? You don't know where your place is anymore. You lose sense of reality and what's fair and what's not. And, we didn't have kids, but we had a family still, right? So it was a whole thing. We had vehicles, we had a whole life. So yeah, it was definitely, I felt validated, kind of someone else knows what I went through. But then I was sad because I just really, truly hoped that all of the things that Matt and I went through, I hoped that they were learning experiences for him, that he would learn that you can't treat people this way. And these behaviors are not acceptable in the civilian world. You can't do these things. And I hoped and hoped that he would fix that, And when all that came out, I'm like, he didn't change. He didn't change. He carried on the same behaviors, and now there's children involved, which is devastating.
The parents' involvement and Jennifer's involvement, how have you processed kind of that whole thing about what's come out over the last week or so about that family involvement pertaining to Matt's death?
I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I wonder what were all of the little things that he had done to make the parents so angry and not like him so much that they were willing to stand up and protect their daughter. Because my parents, even though he did all the things he did, my parents wouldn't help me. My parents wouldn't be involved or help me do any of that. That was a lot. That was a lot. I don't think it's fair. I think there's a million other ways to handle things. I think that they didn't think it through, obviously, and the consequences for those kids and Matt's friends and Matt's family that he has. This is a little trickle effect that's affecting everybody in big and small ways. Like it's devastating that people can think that removing another person, and they feel entitled that they get to choose to remove someone from this earth. It's disgusting, honestly.
You said how this affects everybody. How does this affect you and your involvement in Matt's life?
I feel like, I don't know, it's bringing up all the things from the past, right? You move forward and you get away from your exes for a reason, and you move on with your life and you try and process everything. And for me, I hope the best for him. I hope he's learned. He was young. Deployments are hard on people. I understand that. But to hear maybe he didn't change, all of that's kind of disappointing. And I don't know. It's like, I guess it's a weird kind of maybe closure with Matt and I's story, but it's also not closure, because it would have been nice in 10 years to hear from Matt that he is good, that things turned out different. And I don't know. I don't feel like he got a chance to right his wrongs. That's how I feel, pretty much.
Okay, so now we're going to go over a little bit about what the court documents show with this case. That'd be a good time to do that. The detectives obtained a search warrant for her residence, Gledhill's residence, and they noted that the mattress in the master bedroom was on a heavy wooden frame with no box spring. The mattress appeared to be brand new. Additionally, the entire wall behind the master bedroom appeared to have a fresh white marks from cleaning. Several reddish-brown spots were located on the walls, bed frame, and blinds of the master bedroom. So there was obvious signs of blood splatter. I can't say that word. And they later found out that the parents had been over there helping clean up. Now, when they searched her Chrysler Pacifica, the detectives located a black box containing 3 small cardboard cylinders that contain a powdered plant substance. Inside a black fanny pack were 6 Ziploc bags containing what appeared to be psilocybin mushrooms. They were packaged for individual sale. Inside a white purse was $206 and a pocket on the interior of the purse. Detectives also noticed that the black seats in the van were folded down, increasing the cargo capacity of the van. Well, I mean, that's not. I leave my seats down all the time. All right, so detectives obtained a search warrant for a cell phone, and the GPS mapping of the phone showed that on September the 22nd of 2024 at around 6 a.m., it traveled near the area where Matthew's truck was ultimately discovered. Now, the phone begins moving northbound on I-215 West Belt, and at about 13:46, a phone call is placed to Gledhill's father, which lasts for approximately 4 minutes. The phone then continues north towards Davis County via Legacy Parkway at 1150. I'm sorry, at 1350. And it continues northbound until it is powered off at approximately 1437. Gledhill's phone then appears powered back on at approximately 1707. A call is again placed to her father at 1708 as she is traveling eastbound on the West Davis corridor. It's powered off at 1437 and it's not powered back up until 1707. Okay, so what? You're talking 2.5 hours right there. Almost 2.5 hours that her phone's been powered off. So that's they believe that that's the time period where she entered into the area where she was going to dump his body, and she did tell her lover that she buried it in a shallow grave. So that's where they've been looking in this. So they had like where the cell phone cut off and where it stopped and all that. That's how they're pinpointing where he's located or where they think he was located. But they still haven't found him, and it's been how long? Now, they did find video footage from a Maverick gas station located on Parish Lane in Centerville, Utah. The footage covers September the 22nd of 2024 from 1700 hours to 1730 hours, and it shows a Chrysler Pacifica that appears to match Glenhill's enter the Maverick's property from I-250 west and then turn into 375 north into an apartment complex. The Chrysler Pacifica is seen leaving at 1725, 19 hours. 19 hours. This location was corroborated by Gledhill's cell phone location data. Now, the detectives received an LPR hit on Gledhill's Chrysler Pacifica. Detectives located video footage from a Holiday Oil on Highland Drive. The footage shows her Pacifica at the car wash at 2237 on September the 22nd, 24. The Pacifica uses the car wash, then parks near the vacuums. The single occupant is then seen thoroughly cleaning the Pacifica on all sides and opening all doors. This is all corroborated by cell phone data, and the Pacifica then leaves at 23:07 p.m. Shortly thereafter, Gledhill's phone shows present at informant's residence. That was her boyfriend. Then, of course, they have the call records that show at no point after the 21st did she ever attempt to call her husband, Matthew. So that's when they served a search warrant. And they served a search warrant also on the parents' house. Now, in the parents' home, they located a plastic tote near the bedroom where Jennifer would sleep when she was staying over there. Inside the tote, they located a Glock 19X gun box with one of the handles broken. The gun box was wrapped in a child's onesie. The gun container is consistent with the gun which was shown to the informant by Gledhill. I keep wanting to say something else for her name. So detectives later confront her and the parents, and eventually she's arrested. And we're going to get into more of this on another video, but this kind of just takes us into where are we on this? Why are we here? I think until they find his body, this is the part that is just annoying, because until we know where his remains are, it's hard for them to tie it all together. I think that obviously they have enough evidence to arrest her, but I almost feel like there's no reason she should have done what she did, but it sounds like he had some mental issues which led up to everything. They just didn't mesh well together. Now, she shouldn't have killed him over it. She should have just left him. I mean, why didn't they just get a divorce? Why do these people not just get divorced? What is up with these people in Utah? Anyway, we'll be back on this one. This is just an update and just a piece of the pie. So stay tuned, and thank you for watching.